4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Gravity Formers, it's Monday, June 5th. Today's a bonus episode of a recording of a webinar that we held for the beta-only group. If you'd like to be part of the Gravity Forms beta exclusive group, go to gravityforms.com/beta. We broadcasted this live stream to the Facebook group. Check it out, gravityforms.com/beta. Hope you enjoy. So we are going to kick things off with what the definition of conversational forms is. What is conversational forms? I wish I could do a show of hands if anyone has used it before, but I can't. It's the limit of technology these days. Again, Q&A towards the end. Leave your questions as we go. What is conversational forms? At first, I thought to myself, could I have a conversation with my gravity form? Could I actually have a conversation with it? I see Adam shaking his head. No, you can't have a conversation with it. Not yet, anyway. What is conversational forms? I'll kick it over to Adam first.
Yeah, so it's a question we get quite a lot. Like I've been doing user interviews last week or so, and it's a question that keeps coming up. Like, have you checked out the conversational forms add-on yet? What do you think about it? And people say, well, we haven't actually looked at it. And well, so what is it? And they say things like, is it an AI bot? Is it something like that? And it's not. It's basically a way to interact with a form that presents one question at a time, a more interactive feel, highly movement. There's movement on the page. There's interactions with like a slide. We'll go over it and look at it, but it's basically a way to get more of that conversational feel, engaging users, and hopefully increasing people's conversion rates. At least that's what other people who have been doing conversational forms for a long time have sort of said that that's what it does. So
the quick science behind that is user gets to a form, they see 15 questions and they go, oh my God, I don't have time to fill out this entire form. Very useful if you're in the marketing, the sales world, lead gen, user surveys, stuff like that. You don't want to show, sometimes you just don't want to show everyone this lengthy form. You want to get them into this conversation, maybe increase that probability of completing the form.
Yep.
And when we launch this officially, we're going to have some nice looking themes around this. I saw some mock-ups from our designers. Is that going to go in the full release version that Melissa was working on?
So how it will work from the beginning is that, so we'll have, just like the templates library on gravityforms.com, you'll be able to go look at what templates we've created. So we've basically done the same sort of thing where you can go ahead and look at conversational forms, how they've added a background, an image, things like that. But from the get-go, you won't be able to like directly import it, but it's more of like an inspirational gallery, right?
Got it.
Maybe in the future, we'll look at integrating that more into the product so you can actually import one. But right now it's just sort of more of like what can you do with Gravity Forms conversational forms, so you can kind of look at what we can do versus our competitors, I would say.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. There's some questions rolling in already. Thanks everyone for dropping in those questions. Again, we'll hit those questions during the Q&A. Morgan, anything from you on what conversational forms is? It's okay if yes or no, if you have something, if you want to add to that conversation.
I mean, I guess the simplest thing I always tell people is it's like type forms. Type forms, I think, kind of pioneered this conversational form thing. And a lot of people don't know what a conversational form is, but we've all used type forms. So conversational forms is a form that works like type forms, where you see one question at a time.
Yeah. We debated saying the old T word in the green room before we went live. It's okay. Listen, I think it's fantastic. Conversational forms. All right, Adam, we're going to start with your slides. Then we'll get into a demonstration of what conversational forms looks like. Now, if you want to prepare your slides, or do you want me to spin them up on the monitor?
I've never done a slide using Google Slides, so I can definitely give it a go. Hold on. Slideshow. Oh, it's made it giant. Maybe you could do it on your end, because I'm I'm trying.
For those of you who have joined, this is an alpha version of webinars.
Definitely
We're going to improve this. You're looking at the lead engineering team of webinars right here. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
So maybe skip to, we kind of covered what is a conversational form already. So we're now on to like how conversational forms differ from competitors. That should say how our conversational forms differs from our competitors. So I'm not going to really name what our competitors, who they are, but it's pretty obvious who they are. But from the get-go, that was kind of our mission to have parity in terms of maybe the look of it feel a lot like that T word that we just talked about a minute ago. As other competitors in the WordPress space don't really look like type forms. So they've pioneered the idea of conversational forms, and we wanted to deliver that aesthetic look. So you'll see that ours look quite similar to that versus what our competitors have done, which is not as much that way. So that's all I would probably say on how it differs. It differs in terms of the WordPress landscape. Ours is, I would say, much more graphically intensive versus others. So
and of course, the particular advantage as well is, and I don't want to get myself into the hot seat here, but I'm glad I have the two of you on the show with me right now, is it's going to connect up to the suite of add-ons that we have too, right? Which is a massive advantage that we have over the WordPress form landscape. Is a lot of the stuff that you might think you want to do with conversational forms, you can pipe it through a lot of our add-ons. Zapier is the one that always goes through my head because it's probably like the most used add-on that I personally use. But there's any range of add-ons that we have. I'm assuming we can connect conversational forms up to unlock that magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically anything that you can do with a normal gravity form, you'll be able to do with a conversational form as well. So massive range of functionality there.
Which leads us right into use cases. Good segue there. Adam, first use case come to mind for you with conversational forms?
Definitely lead generation, I would say, like a lead generation form. I can share an example of that, but yeah, being able to capture leads more effectively by guiding customers through that conversational flow, leading hopefully to that completion rate, higher completion rate, is one of the areas that. So can I go ahead and share as well? Maybe
let's go ahead, go right into showing off your
works.
screen. See if this works. Let me stop my screen share, and hopefully that passes it over to you.
Yeah, we'll have to put it up on stage, I think, or however this works.
Yes. 1 second.
Yeah, so there you go. So we've got, this is like, imagine you're a digital marketing agency and you want to attract more leads to your agency. You could use conversational forms to entice people, right? So it's not just, you don't have to just do input. You could do like a text section like this, for example, and then get more into the nitty gritty of like what it is that you're asking people. I do see an issue here with the colors not quite picking up yet. I don't know if I'm using the latest version, but so that's good beta feedback there. So yeah, you would, and then you can customize the next question based on like inserting merge tags as well. So you could have that kind of conversational feel to it. That's right, Morgan. Like you should be able to do that. Like, so the previous answer that I just
no, we can't. We don't have live merge tags. Nope.
Oh yeah,
that's a commonly requested feature for Gravity Forms Core 2, and we don't have it yet, but we will someday.
Okay, so we don't have live merge tags. Before we move on to that, so, Morgan, can you define what a live merge tag is for somebody listening who's never heard that?
So a live merge tag would be like if your first question is, what is your name? And you type in your name. And then the second question could say, hi, your name. How are you today? That is a commonly requested feature. And we don't have that ability yet.
Okay. Well, there I was thinking that we could do that. I'm glad this is in an alpha webinar. Yeah. But that would be great once we can deliver that.
Someday. It's on our roadmap.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so then as you can see, as I'm going through this form, it's giving me that progress bar that we talked about, and we can also go back and forth between the questions using these icons here. There is some keyboard navigation, right? We can press enter. Are there any other things that we can do at the moment with
Tab will take you through the form. Shift tab will take you backwards through the form.
right? So yeah, so there's an example of a conversational form as a lead generation, and then you can customize that last part as well, like the confirmation. It's the confirmation page. You can input like an image and some text as well. So probably took way out too much time up on that one, but let me just show you a couple more examples of like the sort of graphics. See, as you can see, it's very heavy on the graphics side of things, right? So here's another one, kind of the same feel, but then as we get into other ones that we've created as an example, you can really get kind of creative with obviously the graphics and stuff like that. There's this event registration one that I like the look of as well. So yeah, there's many different use cases for conversational forms.
It's fantastic. So it's this distraction-free almost experience for the user, right? We're not getting bogged down by a million questions on the screen, getting the person into the flow. They're clicking through it. And it's just another way that, again, a lot of the competition, a lot of users have been asking us to build this kind of similar experience. And I think at the end of the day, everyone will be happy with what we've built here. Adam, do you want to show the behind the scenes of conversational forms, what this looks like?
That's probably what most people will want to see. I see a few questions that I'll ask at the end as well. But let me take you over to actually. Did I share the right one? Hold on. Okay. I might have to reshare it says share this tab instead. Okay. So do you see Gravity Forms like the back end now?
We do.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So I've already gone ahead and this one I just came up with this idea just a few minutes ago. Let's say I'm a lawn care business perhaps or something like that, and I want to take bookings, but I don't want to build a whole website out, for example. So first of all, I need to enable the feature. So you'd obviously go ahead and build your form as you would any form right now, putting the fields in. And then once you've enabled the add-on conversational forms that's in beta, you'll be presented with this option to enable conversational form mode. The first thing that is required is to put a permalink. So I'm not sure exactly if it overrides something you already have, but if basically you need to put a unique URL in. So I'm going to put in lawn care booking or something along. Hopefully I haven't already done that already. So then I save that.
It'll throw an error if the URL already exists. So you're safe.
Okay, perfect. That's great. So then we didn't look at too much on those demos that I was looking, but you can actually change the layout as well. So that was one of the things that we wanted to do, just like Typeform. Sorry, I used that name again. We can change the look of it. So you can have the image to the right-hand side or left-hand side. So I'm just going to leave it in the middle there. And I don't know if you actually have to set a color, but let's say if you're just doing an image in the back end, that's what I was kind of hoping to do, was like an image. And let me see what we got here. Water sprinkler perhaps, and maybe the accent color is green. And I'll just turn up the image brightness. That basically allows you to put like a dark layer on top if you've got white text above it. So I'm going to put white text there. And then you can have what is called a welcome screen. So like we showed a minute ago, where at the start it has an introduction. This is basically what you're doing here, is putting that introductory like call to action or something. So I'm going to put a headline of transform your lawn with ease, and then I give it a description as well. And then I guess I'll just put my button as start. And maybe I have a logo again. So I'll just put up a gardening logo or a tractor or whatever. I don't know how this is going to look, by the way. This might look terrible. You can also enable or disable the footer. So you don't have to have, is that right? Like if you don't enable the progress bar, then it won't show. You just progress through it.
The footer will still be there. It just won't have the little progress bar.
Progress bar, right? So I do like the progress bar, so I'm gonna just leave it.
Make
as
sure
is.
you
And-
put in that required alternate text for the image. Scroll up.
Oh, okay, yep.
That
So
field is
okay.
required. We're going to make that not required because this is annoying.
All right. We're just going with
Yeah.
whatever here. So let's hopefully let's pray that this works. And live demos they're great. So if I click on this button here, it will open up in a separate tab, and then I'll have to share that one as well. Or can I just? Yeah, I think I have to do that, and then I'll click this. So do you see it now? Like the actual
Yep.
form that I just created? Okay, cool. So yeah, it doesn't look too good. I could probably use a better logo that has a transparent background, perhaps. But as you can see, it's asking for my name. I probably want to add a bit more darkness to the image because it's not, that text is not really coming through too well. So make sure when you're building one of these that it is accessible for the visitors on your site. And then you just progress, and you can make these required, obviously, like any form. So Morgan, how does it work again? Like, so if it's required, and then you press the continue button, will it just remind you that you need to do it, or does it do it on the submit?
Anytime there's a validation error on a field, whether it's because it's required and you didn't fill it out, or because it's like an email address and you didn't put in a valid email address, it won't let you continue through the form until the field you're on has validated correctly. So
Right, okay.
You should never have errors from previous fields when you get to the end of the form.
Okay, so that's good to know. And I did test it with some of the other add-ons, and it seems to be working pretty well, like generally. Are there any add-ons that we're still working on, like with the...
Some of the payment gateways still have some issues, but we're working on fixing those.
Great. Cool. So yeah, there's basically a little demo of what you can do. Hopefully that gives you a little sort of look at what the options are.
I have two things I just wanted to ask real quick. Well, first, I just want to state, how did you know that if I ever got out of the tech business, I wanted to start a lawn care business? Because that's really ultimately, at the end of the day, all I want to do. I just want to cut somebody's grass. I don't want to figure out bits and bytes anymore. But second, Morgan, for you, I think the biggest change that a lot of folks are going to experience now with conversational forms versus traditional forms is this need to set up I guess what I'll call a WordPress slug at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why are we declaring a slug or URL at the top of this form versus a traditional form you just created and you just put in the block or a short code into your post?
Because at this point, conversational forms only work on their own page. So it's basically like you're creating a landing page that is just a conversational form. You can't embed a conversational form inside a site, like in a post or a page. Like, well, you can embed the same form in a post or a page. You can use it in a page or as a conversational form, but it will only show up as a conversational form on that conversational form page. So like I said, it's basically like creating a landing page.
Fantastic. And I'll say this as a non-developer, what implications does that have for a developer who might want to style the conversational form? Is there a drastic difference styling these conversational forms versus a traditional form?
So a lot of why we did this, of putting it on its own page, is so that you have total control over the conversational form styling, and that you're not worrying about like incorporating the theme header and footer. This is entirely standalone. It doesn't have the theme header and footer and sidebar and all that other stuff. It is just the form. That's the only thing you see on the page. For developers, just so you know, that page is actually still loading all of the theme styles. So like it will inherit some of the font styles from the theme. And if you have like really aggressive, really specific CSS styles in your theme, those will show up on the form. But in general, we've tried to do like a pretty aggressive reset so that the form will look pretty different from the rest of the site, so that you have total control over the design of that form page.
It's fantastic stuff. Lots of Q&A, lots of questions coming in. We did want to keep this around half hour, 35 minutes. Adam, anything else you want to show off before we just start answering some of these questions?
Let me unmute myself. Yeah, I think it'd be good to get into the questions because there's quite a few coming in, and there's a couple things I want to show as we get through the questions as well.
Sure thing. I'm going to start with, well, first of all, everyone, thanks for dropping in your questions. I only see Facebook user here in StreamYard. On my right-hand side, I see Robert Roy, who apparently owns stock in Gravity Forms because he has a million questions coming through. Fantastic, Robert. Thanks for sending all of these questions through. Let's start with Robert's first question, which is, can we see a mobile view? And since I have your screen up right now, Adam, is there a way to show you the mobile
view? Let me see if I can do one. Yeah, so we did spend quite a bit of time making sure it looks great on mobile.
I think Adam just left.
He just closed his monitor. I mean, closed his browser. All right. Well, that was Robert. I hope you enjoy mobile. We don't have mobile. That's why Adam left. The perfect way to eject from a live demo. All right. Let me see while Adam scoops himself back up. Let's take a look. Do you see, we'll answer this question potentially. Do you see a potential for adding something like ChatGPT/bot AI to conversational forms? I'd say anything is possible on that front with Gravity Forms. I'm interested just to see, and Morgan, you might not have a definitive answer. I don't think it's on our roadmap. However, I am interested to see maybe what the third-party plugin ecosystem brings to that arena.
Yeah, this is definitely something where we're watching and we're thinking about and we're playing with. At this point, we don't, the whole AI, conversational AI thing is so new right now that we don't quite feel confident enough to start building something because in 2 months, the landscape is going to look completely different. But we are watching it and thinking about it. And there is potential down the road. We just kind of want to wait until things stabilize a little bit.
Fantastic. Another question comes through. Will conversational forms work with major builders, i.e. Divi, Elementor, Oxygen? I fancy probably saying yes to that one, but you never know. Tread lightly.
Well, this is again, because conversational forms load on their own page with their own permalink. They kind of happen outside of whatever theme you're using. So in that sense, yes, they are compatible with all builders, but in the sense of, again, you can't embed a conversational form in the middle of a page. So your theme kind of doesn't matter. Your builder kind of doesn't matter when you're using a conversational form.
Fantastic. Adam,
Sorry
welcome back.
I totally clicked. Oh, goodness. This is great.
Adam, do you want to boot up again and show
how much did you see it last time? Did you see
we saw nothing. You quickly left the room.
Okay, apologies. I'm doing the right thing now. You see, okay, here we go. So yeah, the question was, it doesn't look great on mobile, and I would say yes, it does look great on mobile. We spent a long time making sure that it looks good. I don't know if there's a better way of showing what it looks on mobile, but this is the only way I can think right now is that we just change the viewport. But yeah, we've done a good job to make sure all the typography and everything looks the way it should on a mobile screen. There was some early feedback from a couple of beta testers that when you clicked on an input, for example, like a text input, it would zoom in all in and basically kind of move the screen size. So was that one of the things that we fixed, Morgan?
Yep.
Like it was.
Yep. It's not doing that anymore. So it's good on mobile now.
Yep. So yeah, we've done quite a bit of extensive testing on mobile, and yeah, it should just hold up pretty well on mobile.
Fantastic. I want to combine maybe two questions here for the interest of time. One question was sorry, I'm looking at Facebook. Are you going to enable the ability to embed conversational forms in the future? That would seem to limit its usefulness otherwise. That's a question from David Bird. I don't think that one came in. Oh yeah, it came in right here. Are you going to enable the ability to embed a conversational form in the future? And I think Robert had asked earlier, what's the selling point of conversational forms? I think if you looked at this, or excuse me, not the conversational forms, it was, hold on, I got it somewhere. Key differences between conversational forms and just doing a multi-page form, right? So in this world of how we perceive conversational forms, especially when we look at the competition, i.e. Typeform, we're looking at a form experience that takes the whole screen. It's one question at a time. I think in most cases, you can interact with your keyboard and you can design this experience that feels a little bit more, let's say, immersive. When we think about embedding a conversational form, one might think, well, that might be counterintuitive to the experience. Might be a fair statement, where if you just have this like grandly designed, it's a terrible phrase, grandly designed conversational form in the middle of a post, it kind of loses its effectiveness. However, we do have this multi-page form feature. What do we all think the difference is between like embedding a form versus conversational forms versus, hey, maybe we just use the multi-page to do something like that?
Personally, I think they're two separate things. They're two separate ideas. Like one is a lead form, which is your website with a very multi-step form. Whereas this, like you said, Matt, it's much more immersive. You're distraction free. You're completely in that page, and you're not getting bogged down with all the menu and all the other stuff that you're worried about. And I see many businesses in my local area using conversational forms for registration. Like you're at like a actual conference and you want people to register for your product. They don't want to see all your top banner and your ads and all that stuff when they're just trying to register. They just want to see the form, the fields, and that's it, and get through it quickly. So kids drop off things that my kid, like they have a registration, they do the same thing. It's conversational forms, but so there's definitely a need for it. I think we might look at a lead generation add-on at some point in the future as well. But that's I think they're two separate things. I know that they kind of meet in the middle kind of like a little bit, but I personally think that it's very different to those other like lead generation forms. Yeah.
Sure. Morgan, anything else on that one?
No, I think just worth emphasizing that we've got all these design settings for conversational form, and this would look really weird if you put it in the middle of a normal page on your website. The whole point is this distraction-free thing with this pretty design.
Sort of brings up the conversation of the best workflow for putting in, air quotes, putting in or call to action for a conversational form. And now in the sort of Gutenberg era, you might have a blog post that links out to a conversational form, a call to action. You might just use the built-in block button, right? Might be the way you sort of put in, air quotes, put in your conversational form as a call to action, right? So if you're a marketer, you're building a blog post, lead gen, sales gen, something like that, you just use the traditional block button as your call to action button, and then just link to the conversational form. Is probably how I would play that out versus like, hey, just embed this form here.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Let's try to find some questions.
I got a couple here, unless you
go for it.
If you've got a few more on the conditional logic side of things that people have been asking about. Are there any limitations on like conditional logic, branching logic? Not sure what that means. Any complex calculations or condition? Yeah. So is there any limitations around conditional logic? Maybe that's a question.
Basically, if you can do it, our goal is if there's something you can do with a normal gravity form, you can do it in a conversational form. Right now, the one exception that we're having trouble dealing with is if you have a page that is hidden or a page that has conditional logic that also has fields on the page that have conditional logic. That very specific scenario might not work. But aside from that, anything you can do with conditional logic on a normal form will work in a conversational form. And same thing with calculations, all that stuff. If you can do it in a normal form, it'll work in conversational forms too.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that basically most things work, apart from maybe the payment gateway. Some of them still need some work.
And that's because we're still in beta, but right. All the payment gateways will work.
Very cool.
That's all I think I had, unless you got any more. Matt?
One quick one here. How many templates will you go live with coming out of beta? Templates will be 3, correct? Like those layout templates that no, seeing no's.
So we don't really have templates for conversational forms. We have the templates for just building a form with the template of all your form fields. There are those 3 layout options for conversational forms, but at this point, we don't have plans to have like, go download this design, put it in your form. But if that's something people want, let us know. If we get a lot of requests for that, we'll definitely do it.
I think it would be good, yeah, overall.
Yeah.
But I think what we're trying to do with that template library that will be on gravityforms.com is just being able to show you like the power of our add-on so that people can use their imagination of how it could, how they can build it for themselves. As long as you've got an image, a background, a logo, you can create. I mean, you could really, I made one just a minute ago, but I'm sure you could make some pretty terrible mistakes and make it look pretty bad.
They look nice without a background image too, especially because you can pick your background color, but even just like straight out of the box without messing with any of the design settings, they look nice.
Awesome stuff. I think that's it. I think we're going to wrap it up. We're about 2 minutes off the mark from our projected 35 minutes. So thanks everyone for joining the first beta group conversation. Well, it's going to be more than conversational forms in the future, but our first webinar for the beta group. Again, if you're just hopping in now and you're like, hey, I missed everything, I think there'll be a recording in Facebook. It'll save it there, but I'm also going to pull it down, upload it somewhere on the interwebs, and then email it out to everyone on the email list. Robert Roy, thanks for all the questions. Somebody else had asked a question, but now it is no longer on my screen, so I can't see it. My call to action, breakdown, a Gravity Forms podcast. Go to gravityforms.com/breakdown. You can listen to me chat with other folks around the Gravity Forms ecosystem every 2 weeks. Episode went out today, May 30th. Gravity Forms podcast, breakdown. Adam, Morgan, thanks so much. And Morgan's cat, thanks for hanging out today. It was fantastic.
That was great.
Adam, anywhere you want?
Yeah, that was what I was just going to say, like, how can we get people more involved? Obviously, go to gravityforms.com, go download the add-on if you haven't. It's in the section called beta. Is that what it's called? Beta? I think it's in a little section. It
might be release or something, but on the downloads page, there's a section for it. Yeah.
So go there, install it, works with the latest version of Gravity Forms. And if you have feedback for us, that's what the Facebook group is for right now. So go to the Facebook group and say, hey, this doesn't work, or this doesn't look great, or maybe you've got a device that we haven't tested on yet. Like perhaps you could give us some feedback on it. So, but we're coming sort of closer and closer to the end in terms of releasing it. I'm thinking, I'm not sure if we have a date yet, but we're looking to get it out. So the more feedback we get, the better it will be, and it will be much better in the end. So for everyone. Yep.
This is how I play Adam off the stage right here. Just bring in some music. I'm like, okay, wrap it up, Adam. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody, thanks for hanging out today. Again, look for this video to go out into the newsletter, and you can watch it again. Leave us any feedback you have. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.